In the previous episode, I sailed from Chesterfield Reef to my entry port of Bundaberg in southern Queensland and explored the region. Here I begin the long coastal trip north with a day sail to Pancake Creek.
Well, it's Tuesday the 2nd of July. I'm finally out of Bundaberg Marina, but it's disappointing. I'd hoped to go to Musgrave Island, a very famous snorkeling spot, atoll. The forecast is for very strong winds. So like many others, 4 have passed me and there's more on the other side coming. I'm going to this place. This is Clues Point, and around the corner is something called Pancake Creek, where we're all going to anchor. This peninsula here will protect us from the southeaster and the strong winds and waves. That over there is Busted Head with a light on it. But the disappointing thing is there's been no wind today, and I've boated all day, and I should have just gone to Musgrave and spent the day there and then sailed over here overnight and been here tomorrow. Now, it's seriously tight coming in here in this river, in the bay, and here's the 2 markers I'm in between, and I've already run aground once, but I'm doing it slowly and I'm doing it on an incoming tide. So I was lifted off, thankfully. You see a couple of boats over there. I'm going to go join them.
Here's the chart for the creek showing how far up it we went, and the satellite view shows just how complex this river mouth is, with lots of sandbars.
Well, I made it in without running aground again. Sticking to the channel really does help. This is a public mooring, and I'm just at the limits of what you're allowed to do on it. I actually ran over the damn thing because I went upstream of it and then got washed downstream because the tide's coming in, which is what saved me from when I ran aground. There's a big catamaran here that is anchored. You can see 3 more of these public moorings along here. And there's where I came from. You can see other boats coming in. I think there's going to be quite a few. There's more public moorings over there. If we scan around the edge here, sorry, it's a grey, rainy day. It's a little beach here, a bunch of mangroves. And this guy, interestingly, decided to beach his cat. He's presumably been working on cleaning the bottom or something like that. And this river and estuary presumably goes miles upstream, I have no idea. But through the ropes here, you see an interesting boat. This is a catamaran with a mast on each of the hulls. It's called Cactus Island. It's owned by an anarchist called Heebie-Jeebie, who suggested I come here. So it's really a remarkable place, Pancake Creek. And at low tide, there's these huge sandbars all over the place, including, you might not be able to see it, but a massive one way up there under the light. And if I stay here and it blows as hard as they forecast, this would be a very good kite surfing spot. We will see.
I visited with the crew of the unusual catamaran, Gerald and Maury, who invited me to join them on a walk up to Busted Head Lighthouse. The name Cook gave to this head for a large terrestrial bird they shot here. Along the way was a tiny graveyard for some of the unfortunate lighthouse staff who had died here, including 3 who drowned on May 15, 1889, when their little boat capsized on Pancake Creek, one of several tragedies that beset the lighthouse staff over the decades. The light station has been lovingly restored as a museum by this chap, Stuart Buchanan, who was the last lightkeeper before the lighthouse was automated, along with his now deceased wife Shirley and several volunteers. Luckily for us, Stuart was there and gave us an informal tour of the place. Here is a second tragedy at the lighthouse, with the surviving family looking awfully austere. At other times, the lighthouse had several families living there. Stuart almost single-handedly restored the vandalized lightkeeper's home into a museum, with numerous maritime artifacts like these scrimshaws etched on sperm whale teeth. The base of the lighthouse itself has been converted into a statement about the death of lightkeepers.
We're walking from the lighthouse here, and there's a kangaroo just standing here. Hi, guy. Oh, not bothered by us at all. This is Gerald. This is his wife Marie. Hi, Marie. And this is the lighthouse that we've just been touring. And the keeper, the ex-keeper, who's restored it as a museum, I have his book. Let me just show you quickly. Zoom back down. Stuart Buchanan, Lighthouse of Tragedy. So this is the track, very rough track, that this vehicle called a lark brings tourists to the lighthouse. And they pay $20 a person for the tour, and look at this gorgeous, gorgeous beach here. What's it called, Gerald? Busted Bay Beach, okay. And that head over there in the distance?
1770, that's Round Hill Head.
Round Hill Head, yes, I heard on the VHF. And then 1770 is the town or village nearby. And there's an anchorage there too, right? Oh, I still got the prop going, but just sort of mildly. Well, that would have taken them a while to get here at that pace.
It should have all grown around this year.
And just look at this view. This is called Lind Creek here. You can actually sail up it if you have a catamaran like Gerald and Marie. I'll zoom in enough, but you can actually see the masts of our boats just above the bushes and below, in front of the sandbar that is now exposed because it's getting to be low tide. And there's the coast going north. You can just make out all the ships off Gladstone there.
Although I was sorry to miss Lady Elliot and Musgrave Islands, it was fortuitous not only to meet up with Gerald and Murray, but to visit this Busted Head light station when Stuart Buchanan happened to be there. As he ages, the future of the light station as a museum, aside from the automated light, is dependent on the lark bringing tourists all the way from the town of 1770, named for the year of Cook's visit to this coast, 10 miles south along the beach with 3 river mouth crossings and then climbing the hill to the light station. Gerald has built several catamarans for himself and for clients and is extremely innovative, with Cactus Island perhaps the pinnacle and final build. A light but spacious cat with unstayed masts he built and wishbone booms carrying both jib and mainsail. And of course his tender is also a little catamaran, easily driven by a 2-horsepower 2-stroke outboard like my small one, but also capable of sailing with 2 masts.
We're on these mud flats, moving the dinghy back to the water, and there's all these crabs. Hundreds and hundreds of them running, they're all grabbing holes to dive into here. Just whatever hole is the closest.
For sundowners, most crew met up on the beach with a little fire. On the left are Brian and Mel from their catamaran SV Go. I did not expect to see them again after Opur, but that's what can happen when cruising. And second from the right are Marie and Gerald.
There's a bush turkey wandering through there, really pretty, with a red head and a yellow collar, big black fantail, and he's not shy at all.
After the annoyance of the mooring ball banging against the hull when the wind and current opposed each other the first night, I moved and anchored nearer the sandbar, but in the middle of the night was awakened by my anchor alarm as we moved out of the swing arc, and then spun around the anchor repeatedly.
Well, it's Thursday, June 4th. Sun's just coming up. Still in this Pancake Creek over here. You can see some of the other boats in front. But, well, there's the sun. Yeah, we had an interesting night. Holy smokes. About 3 o'clock in the morning, sea change went walkabout. It went off spinning around the anchor over and over and over again, and then eventually settled back down to a normal position. Wow, I had no idea what was going on. It was incoming current, very strong, against wind, very strong in the opposite direction. So maybe you got caught in a vortex or something. And this is SV Go with Brian and Mel on it. And they dragged, wow, they were way over here, and they dragged to over there last night. Kind of close to the other cat. And even this monohull over here, no, that's its registration. I don't know what its name is. They came in last night. They've got their engine running right now. I think they dragged over towards me. Wow, that was pretty wild. I came up to this channel on the dinghy, surrounded by mangroves. Gorgeous spot. This actually connects through to another stream and lagoon on the other side here called Jenny Lind. But it got kind of shallow. I'm a little bit late, just after high tide. You can see a sandbar here that should be under at high tide. But yeah, absolutely beautiful. And I saw a fish eagle. One in a tree, one that flew over me. Maybe they were the same, who knows. Lovely spot. Alright, off to do some kite surfing, hopefully.
Gerald kindly sent me these 2 clips of me kite surfing along the sandbars.
Oh, it's Friday the 5th, and I've decided to leave Pancake Creek even though it's still blowing hard. You can see the boats back in the distance there, about 13 of us at most. And this time I'm following the damn marks in the chart, trying not to do what I did last time, which was end up on the rocks over here. You can see my track here, the dotted red line, where I really screwed up royally. Mostly because you can't see them well here, but there's a bunch of white markers there that I thought were mooring buoys, but it turns out they're a kind of cardinal marker that there's coral over there. Oh well, lesson learned.
In the next episode, I have a rough overnight sail past Cape Capricorn to Port Clinton, inside a lower section of the Great Barrier Reef.